Imagine working for 22 years. Late nights, weekend deployments, missed birthdays, cancelled vacations, thousands of production incidents, millions of lines of code, hundreds of successful releases, and one day, your entire career is summarized into a 15-minute HR meeting. Not because you failed, not because you were incompetent, but because you became expensive. But here's the question that keeps me up at night. What if that person in that chair is you? A notification appears. Meeting with HR at 3:30 p.m. No subject line, no agenda, no context, just a calendar invite. And in that moment, everything changes. You've seen these emails before. Sent to colleagues, friends, mentors. But have you ever stopped to ask, when will it be yours?
Most IT professionals believe that experience guarantees job security. Unfortunately, the numbers tell a different story. In 2026 alone, layoffs have already crossed 73,000 roles across 95 companies. Big names like Meta, Oracle, and Microsoft together impacted tens of thousands of employees in just a single month. When companies announce restructuring, the people affected first are not the weakest performers. They're the highest paid employees. But here's what they don't tell you in those all-hands meetings. The person deciding your fate has never written a line of code in their life. Let's remove emotions. Let's talk business. Imagine a company needs to reduce annual expenses by 5 crore rupees. Option A, lay off 100 employees earning 5 lakh rupees. Option B, lay off 20 employees earning 25 lakh rupees. Which one creates less disruption? Which one is easier? Which one immediately achieves the target? For finance teams, the answer is obvious. Because payroll is just another line item. And here's the chilling part. Your 22 years of experience? On that spreadsheet, it's just a number in a column. Have you noticed something? Most CEOs proudly announce, we have a young workforce. Average employee age is 29, 30 or 31. Really, 44 or 45. Why? Because nearly 90% of India's IT workforce is under 40. And according to a Randstad India study, 43% of tech and BPO employees over 40 have faced age discrimination. As one industry observer put it, if you're 45 or approaching that age, surviving in the IT industry becomes increasingly difficult. You could be shown the door at any time. But wait, I thought retirement age was 60? Who decided that? The government? Or the industry that hired you? In 2025, India's largest IT services provider, TCS, announced something unprecedented. Layoffs of 2% of its workforce. That's approximately 12,000 employees. The target? Middle and senior management. Not junior developers. Not freshers. The experienced. The well-paid. The safe ones. TCS's own CEO acknowledged that very senior people may not be able to use entry-level skills after training. The message was clear, even the industry bellwether sees a shelf life. If the biggest player in the game is saying this out loud, what do you think the others are saying behind closed doors? This isn't abstract. This is real. A mid-level IT manager from an old IIT, once earning 70 lakh rupees per annum, was laid off. 7 months of relentless searching. Just 2 interviews. He wrote, my savings are depleting really fast. I have a runway of just 2 months. He had just bought a new home. Now he's renting it out to cover EMIs. Another techie, in his 40s, lost his job and turned to alcohol. Fights erupted at home over his unemployed status. I could tell you more stories. But I need to ask you something. Is your story going to be next? Here's the brutal math. As one user on social media platform X put it, cost of one manager is equal to cost of 5 junior developers. One architect at 60 lakh rupees, or 3 capable engineers at 20 lakh rupees each? In many situations, 3 people win. Especially when budgets become tight. This is why higher salary often brings higher risk. Not because you are bad. Because you have become expensive. So let me ask you this. When was the last time your salary increase actually increased your security? The data is staggering. In Q3 FY26 alone, India's top IT firms saw an aggregate net loss of 2,977 roles. TCS alone shed 11,151 employees in a single quarter. More than 7,700 senior professionals with over 15 years of experience exited India's top IT services firms in just 12 months. And according to Aon data, involuntary senior executive exits hit a 6-year high, doubling from 15% to 34% of all executive attrition. Nearly half of all executive departures are now from the top. The industry is systematically dismantling its middle. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The middle, they're dismantling? That's you. Now add artificial intelligence. Generative AI is not triggering mass layoffs overnight, but it is reshaping how work is organized and improving productivity, which means fewer people are needed for the same output. According to Infosys, generative AI could replace 92 million positions globally, including front-end developers and software testers. Industry experts estimate AI could lead to 100,000 to 300,000 job losses in India's IT sector. The question companies are asking is no longer, can AI replace engineers? It's, how many engineers do we actually need? But here's the scariest part. What if AI doesn't replace you, but makes you obsolete by reducing the team around you? Here's the trap no one talks about. You start at 12 lakh rupees. You receive promotions. Life improves. Eventually, you earn 60 lakh rupees. Fantastic. Except, your market value hasn't increased 5 times. Your salary has. A Bengaluru IT startup recently laid off 40% of its staff in a single day, including employees with high salaries and those nearing significant life events. The lesson? High CTC doesn't guarantee security. Now I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. If your current company had to cut costs tomorrow, what would stop them from picking you? Most people respond to higher income by increasing expenses. Bigger house, luxury car, international vacations, private schools, club memberships, premium lifestyle. EMIs quietly consume every salary hike. Ironically, the higher your salary becomes, the more dependent you become on it. You are earning more than ever. Yet, you cannot afford to lose your job for even 6 months. That isn't wealth, that's dependency. So here's a question that might make you uncomfortable. How many months could you survive if your salary stopped tomorrow? Be honest. Let's redefine wealth. Wealth is not your salary. Wealth is not your designation. Wealth is not your stock options. Wealth is the number of years you can live without needing your employer. If your investments can pay your bills, you negotiate differently. You say no differently. You sleep differently. You make career decisions differently. Because fear no longer controls you. Now let me ask you the most important question of this entire video. What would you do differently today if you knew you had 10 years of expenses saved? People often ask me, why did you retire early? The answer wasn't because I hated technology. I loved building systems. I loved solving problems. But I realized something. Every employee has an expiry date inside an organization. Sometimes it's 35. Sometimes it's 45. Sometimes it's 55. Nobody tells you when it arrives. The company simply decides, it no longer needs your version. I didn't want my financial future to depend on someone else's spreadsheet. So I built investments instead of depending only on increments. Eventually, my investments began paying me more confidence than my salary ever could. That is financial independence. But I wasn't always this wise. I made mistakes. I learned late. The question is, will you learn from my mistakes? Or will you make them yourself? Imagine two professionals. Both earn 40 lakh rupees annually. Person upgrades lifestyle every promotion. By age 45, expenses reach 2 lakh rupees every month. Savings remain limited. Person B increases investments instead of lifestyle. After years of disciplined investing, they accumulate a corpus that can sustain their family's expenses without relying on employment. Both earned the same salary. Only one bought freedom. The other bought obligations. Income doesn't determine freedom. Decisions do. So which one are you? And more importantly, which one will you be 10 years from now? The saddest part isn't getting laid off. The saddest part is realizing you needed your job far more than your company needed you. Companies hire you for business reasons. Companies let you go for business reasons. Don't confuse employment with security. As one industry insider noted, the biggest myth in the IT industry today is that a big salary equals career security. It doesn't. It never did. And here's the hardest truth of all. The company that throws you a farewell party today will forget your name by next week. The goal of your career should never be to earn the highest salary. The goal should be to reach the point where losing your salary doesn't change your life. Because that's the day work becomes a choice instead of a necessity. And perhaps that's the real promotion we've all been chasing. Financial independence, not a bigger designation, not a bigger cabin, not another appraisal. Freedom. But here's the million-dollar question. If freedom is the goal, why are you still chasing a bigger salary instead of a bigger portfolio? So let's recap what we've learned today. 1. The IT industry has an age problem. If you're 45 or approaching it, you are in the danger zone. Nearly 90% of the workforce is under 40, and age discrimination is real. 2. High salary equals high risk. When companies need to cut costs, the highest paid employees are the first in line. 3. AI is changing the math. Fewer people will be needed for the same output. The middle is being squeezed out. 4. Lifestyle inflation is the enemy of freedom. Every EMI you take is a golden handcuff. 5. Financial independence is the only real job security. Not your skills, not your experience, not your designation. But here's the most important takeaway. You've just spent few minutes learning about other people's mistakes. The real question is, will you do something about yours? If this video made you think differently about your career, don't stop here. Start calculating your financial independence number today. Every SIP, every investment, every debt you avoid, every unnecessary EMI you don't take, is one step away from depending on your employer. The best career insurance policy isn't a bigger salary. It's a bigger investment portfolio. If you're in your 30s, you still have time. But time is running out. The question isn't whether you'll be affected by the next wave of layoffs. The question is, will you be ready when it happens? And here's something I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. You don't need to be rich to start. You just need to start to be rich. Because the best career insurance policy isn't a bigger salary. It's a bigger investment portfolio. And if you're wondering where to start, you're not alone. Most people never start because they don't know where to begin. That's why I offer a free, no obligation portfolio review for viewer of this channel. No pressure, no sales pitch, just honest feedback from someone who's been where you are. Click the link below. Book a time. Let's talk. Because the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Subscribe, share, and start building your freedom. Today.